So this is vlog 7, final performance and evaluation. Overall, I thought that both performances went really well, except from a few mistakes. So when two scenes got mixed up, people backstage, including me, were trying to figure out what's going to happen and what we should do next. So after the huge mistake of the scenes being switched, which I don't think the audience actually noticed, I thought that it went pretty smoothly for the rest of it. I thought that the second performance went a lot better for me, especially. The reason being, there was no mistakes. I was more comfortable with the environment and then people watching me doing this performance because they had just watched us. We'd done the first performance. So there were no major backstage problems. It was a really calm atmosphere. So everybody was calm, everybody was relaxed. I thought this helped me because then I could focus more on my character itself and my actions and singing instead of actually focusing on, oh god, something's gone wrong, what do I do here? Or the audience staring at me. Okay, so for vocal, I felt like, because I'm not a singer, when getting a mic, I felt very, 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 I don't know what I'm going to say here. I didn't feel confident. The reason being, I didn't want to be that one person that was out of tune or was louder than the others, so you could only hear me do a wrong note. So everybody's doing a middle note and I'm doing a low note. I didn't want that. So in some dances, especially Luck Be a Lady, when singing, I didn't actually feel like that was when doing Luck Be a Lady, I focused more on the singing because I didn't want to get a wrong note. Throughout the course of rehearsals, I practiced so much on each of the songs, on my tone, on my volume, on my vocals. I just practiced so much, and oh my god, it was ridiculous how much practice, because I didn't want to get it wrong for everybody else. In some parts of the songs, I thought it was more effective when I went on the lower notes. The reason being, we don't want everybody doing a high note or a medium note. We could have a range. And so all the girls were doing medium notes and I'd be doing a low note, which I thought was pretty good for me. When having mics and having the music blasting out from big speakers, I found it a lot easier to actually know when to come in on the song and know when to stop, because when you have mics, we didn't have to shout and we didn't have to scream over the music like we had to without mics. We could just say it normally, like I am doing now, and then we'd be able to hear the music perfectly, which I found really, really good. In the first show, my singing, I didn't think was as good as the second one. I think, again, because I was focused on people watching me and I didn't want to embarrass myself, so I went quieter. But on the second show, I felt a bit more confident because I knew the volume and the tone and all that I had to do, so I could go for it. Also, through rehearsals, I kept on singing in front of my mum, and she kept on giving me pointers of what I could work on, and what has improved. The main thing that she normally said to work on was what was it? It was working on volume. Now, I don't understand that because I thought I was shouting it, but clearly I wasn't. So in the show, when singing, like I was to my mum, I thought, okay, I need to be a little bit louder here. So I raised my volume a bit, which was very good as well. When playing as Brannigan, I wanted to keep his voice nice and deep because I think that if he has a deep voice, it would show more dominance, including his arms crossed. I think it'd show more dominance if he had a low voice, because if he had a high voice, everybody would just laugh at him. Okay, so for singing, oh no, wait, we'll go back to vocal. Okay, so I also felt more relaxed in the accent. I wasn't saying as much as I was in rehearsals. We got told that the punchlines of jokes were being not heard because of ad-libs. I had wrote some of the ad-libs down in my script, so when it came to not being able to hear the jokes, I knew which ones I had to take out and which ones I didn't, or which ones we had to say quieter, so then you could hear the actual joke being said. I also worked a lot on my diction, because apparently when doing the accent, you could barely understand me, and my diction wasn't the best. So I slowed down my lines, so then my diction was good. Okay, so for singing, I was very pleased of my singing, especially in Guys and Dolls and not Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat, and Look Be a Lady. In Guys and Dolls, I had my little solo piece. I tried in rehearsals different ways of saying it. So the end word is Barbasol, so I'd try and sing Barbasol, but I couldn't actually get the note that David wanted me to, so I just ended up going Barbasol, just because I couldn't hit the note, but it still fit with the song, so I'm okay with that. In Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat, I think that went really well. I think that was the best song out of them all. Everybody hit the notes, even me. Everybody hit the notes, and everybody knew what they were doing, when and where they were meant to be going, and I think that was just the best song. For Luck Be a Lady, I didn't think on both nights that it went very well for me, because on the first night I was focused more on singing than the dancing, so I would be singing more and then forgetting the dance. But then on the second night I was focusing more on the dance than the singing, so then I'd be getting the wrong notes. So I think in the next performance I need to work on that, making sure that I'm confident on both of them and not just one of them at a time. The song that didn't go the best, I think, was The Oldest Establishment, as when the crapshooters started walking in to meet Nathan, Nicely and Harry, we somehow got out of time, and we had practiced so much, we had done so much rehearsals for that dance, for that song, and it's always been on time, but for some reason it just went out of time, and so we had a couple of people out of time and a couple of people that were on the time, and so eventually it just slid into, okay, everybody's on time, but halfway through that it sounded really bad. But I don't think I don't think I was on the wrong, but I could have been. I don't know. Over rehearsal time, as we practiced each song more and more, I got the right tune, I got the right volume. But on some songs, especially on Guys and Dolls, I went a little bit flat, which I'm okay about because I don't think anybody noticed. But then I quickly changed to what it was meant to be. Also, in Luck Be a Lady, the harmonies weren't the best because the harmonies are kind of out of time. I didn't think that we'd worked enough on each harmony. That may just be me, but I don't think that as a group we worked very well on Guys and Dolls. And over every single song I made a couple of mistakes and went flat and just did the wrong notes and stuff. Okay, so for physical, in Luck Be a Lady, like I said, because I was focusing more on singing on one of the nights, I was focused more on singing. I actually forgot some of the dance, but I don't think anybody noticed because I think I covered it up pretty well. I just did my own little moves. And also, I was used to Nathan being in the dance, and so I knew where he was going, and when we get into a position, we have our backs together and we have our arms out, but because he wasn't doing it, I had to make something up quickly, but then I eventually did that with Chelsea, but with arms crossed, which is a manly thing. But like I said, I was focused more on singing, so I forgot some of the dance. I also think I didn't spread my arms as much. I didn't finish moves, which I really need to work on, because I haven't done for a very long time, finish moves. But I need to make sure that I'm completely comfortable, even when, like, Nathan left, wasn't doing it. I need to make sure that I'm comfortable in the next performance. I'm comfortable that I can do it, even if something wrong goes and happens. I was pretty comfortable with the blocking of the shows. The main thing I was worried about was the main thing I was worried about was scene change, because like I said, I got forced into doing some of them even when I hadn't wrote it down. But I got forced into doing them and I had to remember them off memory. And on one of the nights I totally forgot to do one, and Dan just had to do it himself because he remembered and I didn't. Another thing that I was worried about is when people were standing in different spots from rehearsals. At those points I was thinking, oh god, what do I do? But every time that happened, I covered up pretty well. I just looked at the person I was meant to be looking at, even if it looked really wrong, like over the neck or no matter what. I think I covered it up pretty well. So, finally, characterization. I found that being in costume and being on stage with costume and mics and music and all the set helped me get into character more. And with the big coat with Brannigan, it was like, as soon as I put that coat on, Brannigan. I think all of that really helped with the characters, and it helped me focus more on my character and not other stuff at that point. I tried to keep my body language and my Brannigan crossed arms as much as possible. I tried to keep. I had to try and find like a suitable body language for Brannigan, which is just being himself, just shrug shoulders or relaxed. I found out that for Brannigan and Max, I almost did the same voice. So it would have basically been the same character, just without a coat. So for next performance, I'm going to try and get two totally different voices if I have two characters to play. I managed to keep the accent all the way through the play, both plays. Which was something I found difficult in rehearsals. On the second show, my diction was a lot better because I was focused, because it was a calm atmosphere. I was focused on my diction and my character just as a person. In Luck Be a Lady, I had to make sure that I didn't use all of my energy, because otherwise I would finish Luck Be a Lady and then be knackered for the next scene, which wouldn't be good. But I put about 90% in on Luck Be a Lady, so now I have that 10% for the next scene. When backstage, I made sure that I was quiet, and if I had to talk to someone, made sure I was whispering. And when doing the second performance, because we knew what we were doing, we didn't have to talk at all. So that's the final performance and evaluation.